Hi friends, welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to maybe talk about personal branding. So we have Ameya with us in today's discussion, and Ameya is also working with me as a Microsoft technical trainer. So I think he'll give insights on how he builds his own personal brand. And this is going to be a normal conversation. We've not planned anything. So he can ask me some questions, I can ask him some questions. That's how we are going to go about it. A quick introduction. I will just give a brief of Amey. Amey is working from Australia and he's also a Microsoft technical trainer. But I'll ask Amey to maybe introduce himself.
So as you said, Neeraj, I'm a Microsoft technical trainer based out in Sydney, Australia, and I've been in Australia for 5, 6 years. So I can give you a bit of insight about Australian market. And I'm from India, so I know a bit about that market as well. So yeah, that's me. I'm working in Microsoft for the last 10 months and been enjoying.
Amey is also an expert on networking areas. So if anyone has any questions on networking, please make sure you type it in the comments. We'll be more than happy to take your questions. So today's discussion is all about personal branding, Amey. So what personal branding means to you?
For me, it's basically building my own image and to propagate that image and to build a small community on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my go-to platform. So
Okay.
build a small community, get everyone involved, try to basically help as much as I can. And we'll talk about it later, how to do it. But basically, it's just creating that community and helping. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So personal branding is, I think the key takeaway I can see is maybe building a community. That also
Yeah,
resonates with me as well. So if you build a community, you will go to that platform, right? If you don't have anyone to maybe talk to, or if you don't have any conversation that you can have, you will not feel like going to such platforms, right? Plus,
exactly.
building your community helps you in a lot of different ways. We can talk about a little bit about it. Uh, but I like to understand. So you talked about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the areas that you focus on. You feel like this is the social media that works for you. What do you think? Which social media a person should select, maybe for building their own community? Do you think there is a choice that we have, or we can go for anyone and then maybe choose it later on when we see like more people are engaging on a specific community? Do you think one should go for specific target specific social medias, or you can go for any of the social medias?
It's a really good question. I think because the whole networking and the only social platform for basically for building that business community is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my go-to thing, and I always tell my students or any other person that I'm mentoring is LinkedIn should be your new Instagram. Everyone is on LinkedIn. Um, Try to connect with people just like you do it on Instagram. Try to connect with people, try to see what they're doing, try to learn from them, see, and if you want to apply for a new position, basically see who all are at that position, see what they've done, what certifications they've done, how did they get there, maybe ping them and ask them for advice. And trust me, many times I've got some really, really good advice from LinkedIn from randomest people. When I reached out to them saying, can you help me to do this, do that? What should I go for next? And trust me, many, many people are very helpful, especially on LinkedIn. I haven't had that much luck with other platforms. I've actually deleted my Instagram and Facebook, but that's a personal choice. But I think LinkedIn is the main go-to platform for me. What about you, Neeraj? What do you think? Do you use any other things? Or
Yeah. So what I understand is there are different types of medias that you can interact with your community, right? One is like Teams or Skype. Maybe if you
Hmm.
have like a group created there, you can engage with them, or you have Discord or other things as well.
Hmm.
Those are good for deep conversations, I feel.
Hmm.
Then you can have some massy media, like you can have YouTube, where you can maybe reach out to a lot of people, right? Like if we post this video on YouTube, a lot of people can look at it, and it is like a mass appeal that you get, and also people, you're able to reach a lot larger audience there, right? So I feel like it depends on what areas you maybe want to start on. So if you want to have a deep conversation with your learners, or you want to have a deep conversation within your community, maybe LinkedIn is also a good platform to go for. But there are some limits to those platforms as well. For example, on Teams, you can have up to, I think, there's a limit on the number of people you can have in a group. Then on LinkedIn, you can have, I think, 30,000 followers or something, 30,000 connections. After that, they only are able to follow you, right? So I feel like every platform has some benefits or some advantages to it. It all depends on what things you want to target on. If you want to have a deep conversation, a repeating conversation, I feel like these social media groups like LinkedIn groups are very good for that. And if you want to reach a larger audience and maybe you want to broadcast your message, maybe YouTube may be a good option to go for. Similarly, there are other platforms that are there. So you just have to segregate on which platform maybe works for you. And it is very individual opinion as well, right? So maybe
Yeah.
some people would prefer going to Instagram and they like watching reels and they see whatever job opportunities or other things are there for them. I've heard about quite a lot about Twitter as well. So I recently joined Twitter, but I see that a lot of people are also interacting on Twitter and they've landed quite a few jobs on Twitter as well. So it all depends on personal experience, and it also depends on the type of learner that you are. So you may go for one media or the other media.
No,
So
sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think I just wanted to add on the story. I have a very good friend of mine who works for Facebook and he works as a security engineer. And I was just having this conversation with him. So he was telling me to get information about the latest hacks in the market and the latest computer viruses and what's going on. He has this Twitter community. So he follows all the updates on Twitter. And because whatever's going on in Twitter, so he's moving up from Twitter to Discord now. So the whole community is on Discord. And so you can get to connect with a lot of people there also and probably talk to them, network with them whenever he actually is planning to leave Facebook and planning to join some other company, but he's getting all those contacts from there. So as you said, Discord is also a very good platform these days.
absolutely. So it is more of an individual opinion. That's what we can agree on. But you start with something, right? At least create some profiles there. Start looking at the platform. If you're getting that engagement, then maybe you can follow up and maybe continue on that platform. But if you feel like it's not working for you, delete it. It's not like you're hellbound on having that just for the sake of it, right? So, but at least have a LinkedIn profile. I will also agree with them because it is a work platform and you get a lot of cool updates. So I think this is a good segue to talk about some of the benefits that you might have seen in your experience or you might have seen with your friends. So you talked about one benefit that they were able to translate that audience into Discord. Any other benefit that you see from social media that has helped in your career, maybe your personal journey?
Oh, definitely. Talking firstly about my jobs, because jobs is literally the main thing. All the last three jobs that I've landed is from LinkedIn, literally from LinkedIn, from pinging people. Because many times you update your resume and you put your resume on the portals, and the portal are not going to read your resume. There's a good
Mm,
chance that the HR doesn't read your resume. So I personally ping to the HRs and say, "Oh, I'm ready for this position. Can you look at my resume?" And in during the last interview, they're like, "Yeah, okay, we like you. Let me put your CV to the correct person." And that's how the interview process started. So that is one thing. Like applying for through portal also helps sometimes, but many times it doesn't. So LinkedIn is a very good platform for that. And second is I follow some really, really cool people on LinkedIn. So whenever I need to get some new updates on what's going on in the tech world, LinkedIn is my place to go. Like there are some new updates for BGP protocol, or there's some new AI software in the market. I don't know if you heard about it, the Chat GPT. It's like, and people are doing stuff on that. So that's so
mm.
cool. So I get all those information from LinkedIn. That's my go-to place. But as you mentioned, I should probably broaden it up and look at other platforms as well. What about you? What do you think? Where do you target yourself basically on these platforms, and what do you get from there?
Right. So I think if you build a good enough audience and you're sharing, I would say customized content, you make a market of yourself, right? If you build your own brand and maybe if you're sharing the links that are already there or you're sharing some documentation, you'll have some engagement with the community, but over time they will see that you're just sharing some bunch of links, right? But suddenly if you start creating your own custom content, you see the feedback from the learners, you see or if you're working on something, for example, if you're delivering some sessions, you share those customized diagrams, you share those customized notes. It really builds a sense of belonging, and people feel like the person is going to be really valuable for us as well. So they automatically start connecting with you. And you also see other folks who are also sharing similar things. It helps you to maybe think about how you are teaching or how you are working on your job. And it also helps you improve whatever you're doing in your space. Personally speaking, LinkedIn also helped me land this job. So I also connected to someone. I saw that there was a post on a job offering at Microsoft, and I just reached out to the person. They basically referred me into Microsoft. So I would say this has really helped me at least land this job. But obviously, if you have good networks, you can always reach out to different folks. For example, I was looking at SSI score. So on LinkedIn, we have a social setting index or score. On that score, if you have a good enough score, your profile is actually viewed by more recruiters. Your profile is more better marketed, right? So if anyone searches for any technology, if someone is searching for Azure, your profile will be at the top of the ranking
So I
there.
reached out to a few folks who had like 80,000 or 70,000.
Or 1 million people following them, and I asked them about some of the best practices. And from there, I got to learn a lot of things. So you will always find people who are expert in certain things. You can't be an expert on everything, right? Maybe you can try, but you can't be an expert on everything.
Yeah,
So I feel like if you reach out to those people, it really helps you to build your own career and maybe improve on that over time. I really actually love that people are sharing different content. You get to also get inspired in your own work because of that. So I really feel that. I have seen, just like your story, a lot of people have got a lot of hikes, or maybe they have gone on to do some new things by using these social media. For example, you have groups for PMP planning. So if you're preparing for PMP, you can join that group. If you're working on Azure and you're preparing for the certification, there are certification forums available to you as well. So there are a lot of different areas you can go to, and it helps you to maybe learn on this. On the job part, I think I'll just add one more point to that. There's a website in India called Naukri.com. And if you post your profile there, although you might receive a lot of spam calls, but that website is really good if you want to maybe land a job. That has worked for me in the past. So I would just recommend that that is another platform you can look at if you're just looking for a job. But just get a new number, which you'll only keep for attending those calls, right? Because sometimes you will get a lot of spam calls as well because of that. Okay. So that's it. I think it has really helped me, and I am a big proponent of having the social media and creating a community around it. Okay.
definitely. And just so that our viewers know, the reason why I contacted Neeraj was basically his customized content. He used to put the AZ104 notes and everything, and I loved it. And that's why I reached out to him. So customized content really helps. And just like Neeraj, we follow John Saville, who has been super
Absolutely.
helpful for us. So
Absolutely.
customized content is the key. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. It also inspires us to maybe think about what we are doing, and we take a back seat and see what we can improve or what we can do, right? So it's always good to see. And you find people who are doing amazing job on different things, right? And you will find people where you want to grow, and you will find some skills that you can acquire by following those folks, right? Okay.
Definitely.
So now I think this is a good segue to see any tips and tricks that one can follow to maybe be a superhero on LinkedIn or any other social media platform for that matter. So we'll maybe focus on LinkedIn since you're also aligned towards LinkedIn. Any tips you would recommend that one can do to maybe enhance their profile in order for them to land better jobs?
First of all, I'll start with the basics. I've seen many people, they just they don't even have their profile pics on. I'm not I'm nothing against people who want to keep it private, but just so that you can boost up your LinkedIn profile, keep a good formal picture, keep a good background.
Mm,
Describe what you're doing very nicely, put your roles and responsibilities very nicely, where you have worked, what you've worked, till when to when. Sometimes people just write, oh, 20 years in the same company, but they're working for some other company, but they don't update it. So be active on LinkedIn, follow good people, engage in good conversations. Uh, Trust me, I was talking to one of like this one guy who's super good in networking. So I engaged in a conversation with him. Like he posted something, and I'm like, oh, but this will give us this problem. Don't you think so? And he's like, yeah, you're right, but this doesn't happen this way. So You get to know him. Now he knows me, at least by name. So whenever a job comes up next time, if I apply or ask him for a referral, he'll be super happy to do it. So
Absolutely.
engage in conversations, talk to people, build that profile, keep posting content. And as you said, customized content is going to basically separate you from the crowd. That's my thing, but I know you are also very good at it. And I know you keep putting a lot of content. So let's hear from you. Like, what do you think?
Right. I wouldn't say like I'm very good at it, but I was not really active on social media that much, I would say, up until I think last year. But I recently started maybe posting. I took like a 30-day challenge to maybe post every day. And I was posting whatever and everything and about everything in those 30 days. Because of that 30-day challenge, it actually challenged me to improve my SSI score. I wanted to improve my SSI score over the entire month, right? That was my goal. I was not looking at what people are liking or what not. After those 30 months, I realized that there are certain posts which are more engaging. Like any custom content that I created, it was more engaging. Also, as you rightly mentioned, profile completion is very important. Although everyone think that this is a very basic thing, but you have a lot of features on LinkedIn. Maybe you can add a video. Maybe you can also add bullet points about whatever you think you have worked on. And if you add your company details over there, it will algorithm will automatically recommend you people who have worked on those companies. So you'll actually
Yeah.
build a proper community because of that, right? So I feel profile management is very, very important. Maybe we can come up with some tips and tricks. Amey also has his own YouTube channel. He can also share some tips on how to maybe update the profile properly, what you can do to maybe enhance your profile that you currently have. Make sure you're using or utilizing those tools. If you don't utilize these tools, those are not going to help you, right? So I completely agree with them. Update your profile picture, a professional picture with a solid background, nothing fancy. Don't create a group picture and upload it there because people will not be able to find you in that group picture. You can also add your name pronunciations and other things. You can also create bullet points about everything that you've done, add your certifications there. It also helps in the overall algorithm. If you have a higher SSI score, if people are trying to find certain skills, your profile will be on the top and you'll always be recommended to get hired for those different positions, right? Plus, it also builds a community. You find people who are aligned to your skills. So you also have some quizzes you can take. So on LinkedIn, you can take a Azure quiz or AWS quiz, and you add that skill into your profile, and it shows you throughout the world what is your ranking. Maybe your top 5%, top 1% of people who have taken the quiz and you've answered all the questions correctly. So it also gives you those benefits as well, right? There can be hundreds of benefits on it, but I think maybe we can bring some series or videos in each of our channels and we can talk about more of these things as well, right? Okay, I
Yeah.
think we are good for at least getting a basic sense of what one can do to build their own profile. Any closing remarks, Samay?
No, I would just say because we are all in this scenario where we always need to get a better job and a promotion, and in this way personal branding is really going to help you achieve all that. It's going to be very hard. It's not impossible without it, but it's going to be easier for you if you build your personal brand to get better jobs, uh, get better salaries, and it'll overall also it helps you to get engaged in the community, learn something new, and it really helps you out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree to whatever you said, and I thank Ameya for being here. I have been chasing him for some time to get him on this call because I know whatever he's going to talk about, it is going to be really valuable for all of you. In closing, I would also say, don't hesitate, right? If you're creating a profile and if you want to learn something, you want to talk to someone, just reach out to them in their messages. You will not get a response every time, okay? And don't be fearful of rejections. If some 50 people reject you, there are chances that you will meet some people who are going to answer you genuinely, and that may transform your career as well. So I would recommend, don't be hesitant in reaching out to people and make sure you're creating a community on whatever platform you go for, that so that you feel like you want to go to that platform, log in, and maybe talk to other folks as well. They are your friends online, okay? The friends that is going to help you in your career. So I feel like that's really important to build a personal brand for sure. All right, I think we are good for today. Very good in discussion, Amey. As always, Amey is a very good friend of mine. So we anyway have a very good discussion. Even after this call, I think we'll have a chit chat about other things as well. So I hope to see all of you in another video. And thank you, Amey. I'll also post Amey's connection details so you can connect with him on LinkedIn. And I'll post all the socials of Amey. You can just definitely connect with him as well. Thanks, Amey.